Hey, Tanya.
Hey, Chris.
Um, is 2020 over yet?
It is, but 2021's not looking so hot so
Yeah,
far.
it's like 2020 part two.
Eh. Well, maybe this is like 2020 plus 7 days, plus 10 days, something like that. You know how like March hasn't ended?
Don't start. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't put that out in the universe. Don't do that. You know what would be more fun right now? Let's talk about
Well,
something else. Let's do the first podcast of the year.
woohoo!
Now I just need to see. Have we found Billy? Billy,
I'm here.
there he
Hello.
is. Oh,
Good
that's
morning.
he was hiding behind a cat. Okay, hi Billy.
Hi.
He
Actually, I
was
was.
snuggling a cat.
And has anybody seen Dan? Dan? Dan?
Dan,
Dan?
Dan,
Dan.
There he is. Wait a minute. I think I heard Dan. Are you there?
Yeah,
Dan's
sorry,
hiding
I got interrupted. Sorry, yes.
behind a cat or a kid.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
Could have been both. You never know.
Yes.
Well, guys, Happy New Year.
Happy
Same
New
to
Year.
you.
We should probably do a proper opening then.
From Rochester?
From Rochester. Live from New York? No, that's been done.
No, we're not live.
Not live. And we're live.
We're live now, but
We're live
we're not.
now. Live on recording.
Recorded
we
before
go.
a live audience?
Alive in New York.
There we go. From Rochester, New York, we're alive in New York. This is Monkey Business, your one-stop shop for everything geeky, and everything can be geeky if you love it enough. And we're going to prove that this year, I hope. Starring your friends, your family. It's Dan Carmen. It's Tanya Metris. It's Billy DeTore. It's Juno the Wonder Dog. And I myself. My name is Chris. I'm your host. It's good to see you guys. Well, hear you guys. Well, talk to you guys. Okay, I'll get this right one of these days. Be with you guys in stunning 1080p. Love it. We've upgraded our technology. We're going to be 4K by the end of the year. It's going to be amazing. You're going to see vivid Technicolor. In vivid Technicolor.
Vivid, yeah.
And now
we are on the ball in 2021 here.
Oh, yeah, well.
On with the show. Hello, fam.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, Chris.
How are we doing?
Doing all right. It's Sunday morning when we're recording.
Yes.
Listening on Wednesday or later.
Probably.
Yes.
It is the 10th of January on the day that we record this. It's a special day in my family.
Your bouncing baby boy is 18 today, and he's no longer a baby boy.
He's no longer a bouncing or a baby.
He hasn't been a baby boy in a while.
He is not. No. This is actually a big date in our family. My cousin Christine, her younger daughter Alana, has a birthday today. My cousin Doug, his granddaughter Brooklyn, has a birthday today. It's Ian's birthday today. It's Ian's mother, Erica. My ex, Erica's cousin Bianca, has a birthday today. And there's like two others. I can't remember exactly. I think they're friends of the family, but there's two other people who have birthdays today as well. So yeah, it's a big day in the family, and so we're kind of excited. We're throwing birthday greetings around to each other. I have not heard from the newest Lord of Scotland just yet, but did I tell you guys that's what I did for his birthday?
No.
For his birthday, I went to that Established Titles website. I did all the reading and the research and whatnot, and I bought him a small patch of Scotland. So now he's officially a Lord of Scotland.
You got him a 5x5 instead.
I got a 5x5. Well, the base package is a 1 foot square package, right, or 1 foot plot, which is cute. It's all well and good, but I'm thinking that Ian eventually is going to have. Knowing him, he's going to go looking for it one of these days. He's going to go to Scotland for the express purpose of seeing his property. And he was not small enough to fit on a 1 foot square. I couldn't imagine, gifting him a patch of Scotland that he couldn't fully appreciate. So I got him the 5x5 with a 5 foot square, and they're going to plant a tree on it in his name. I believe there's going to be a small plaque on it, but I don't think that's necessarily a thing, but it has a plot designation and everything. He does not have to pay taxes on it, which I made sure of that, but it was funny that this is like basically the culmination of a very long time running gag. When he was in second grade at 6 years old, so 12 years ago, the class was given projects to do reports on different countries throughout the world, and he was given Scotland, and he read all about Scotland, and he read about Scottish history, and then he's read about the reputation Scotsmen have and kilts and the color of the history and the medieval aspects of it and the accent and everything. He just fell in love with the country. Right, so whenever he's playing D&D, every character he plays has a Scottish accent. Well, a bad Scottish accent. Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
And but he loves to embrace it. He loves to embrace it, and I just figured, okay, that's cool. Then this is something I'm going. When it came out, it was meaningful, right? So I'm going to give him a little patch of the country he loves the most outside of our own. As a matter of fact, at this moment in time, I think he actually loves the most bar none. So, and so yeah, when I presented it to him last weekend because he had his family birthday party, as his maternal grandfather was not going to be available this weekend. They're going to be out of town. So we had the whole family together, well, all 10 of us, and I gave it to him, and he was just over the moon. It was so much fun to watch his reaction to that. So yeah, my son is 18. So both of my kids are now young adults. They are no longer children. It's it's kind of a scary feeling. I got to tell you a little bit. It's kind of like,
It is.
it's weird. I turned 50 this year. And I've been 50 for a couple months now, and I'm looking in the mirror, and I'm like, I'm still struggling to see that kid, the whimsical idiot who comes up with really strange ideas and is entertaining and fun. And I don't see him as much anymore. There's a crazy old man in his place.
No, it's funny. I just saw a couple pictures of you guys on Facebook before I logged in to talk to you guys,
Uh-huh.
and just to see you, Chris, with shorter hair,
Uh-huh.
Ian way shorter
Yeah.
than you, and now he's taller than you, isn't he?
No, not
Or
quite.
not quite.
It depends on the day. It's very weird, and I think it's because it depends if I've stretched out enough or not. Because if I'm like first thing in the morning and I haven't really stretched and gotten loosened up and moving around, I'm like a fraction of an inch shorter apparently. But also it also depends on is he wearing shoes when we take the pictures, stuff like that. Who's wearing shoes? When we're both flat foot, like in mid afternoon and staring at each other, he's still looking me just under the eye.
But it's very close.
It's real close.
But I was thinking, where's the little boy I met a few years ago?
Yeah,
that had a love of blueberry muffins, and probably
he
still
still
does.
loves.
He still loves his blueberry muffins. He still kind of has a penchant for those, thankfully enough. But no, that little boy is not quite around anymore. So he's impressive. That kid, I swear to God, he's impressive. It's just interesting to hear him talk about stuff. It's like you hear that the whole, oh, he's such an old soul thing, because there's this wisdom beyond years, and I just listen to him talk sometimes, and I'm like, how did I make this? This is beyond my abilities. I'm not good enough for this. This is how did
Do we
I
need
do
to go
this?
back to have that discussion about how he's made?
That's not what I meant, woman. I know damn well how the biology occurs.
The bees. Oh, sorry.
I'm not worried about the biological aspect.
Oh, okay.
I'm just talking about the philosophical aspect of it all.
I know he's so wise beyond his years.
He really is. There are times where he just starts kind of the way he looks at things. It's like, did you just say that? Wow. Okay, that's a thing.
Well, if you've watched Soul over the Christmas break, maybe you'll get an insight as to how people get their interests and their loves.
There you go. That sounds like a plan. That sounds like a thing. How about you guys? Anything special going on? Anything new and exciting? I mean, it's a new year. This is our first podcast recording of 2021.
I've been in the house watching all the developments going on around our country, and then distracting myself with music and sports ball and comic books and
interpretive dance.
Exactly. Cats, always cats.
Cats are a thing. Absolutely. I just don't get it. I really don't. There's a lot going on that just makes me kind of stop and stare and go, what, what's going on here? What happened? I don't know, man.
Yeah.
There's one less fun feed to read on Twitter.
Yeah. Oh darn! Whatever will we do for our?
I'll start posting.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know what I'll post, but I'll post like funny cat videos or something, and it'll be something fun for you to.
I'm
watch.
just hoping he doesn't open an OnlyFans account.
Here's one for you. Somebody retweeted it, so I don't know how. It might be just a kind of a screenshot or a Photoshop kind of a thing. But somebody on Twitter yesterday posted a retweet from Pornhub saying we too have banned him from access to our social media, and I'm like, oh my god.
I get Susan on the other side of me doing a little interpretation of an OnlyFans account from our okay.
Our divine leader.
I wish we were on video right now.
Oh my god.
She's cracking herself up and me.
That's the best part.
I can hear her now.
Yes. Behold the wild Susan. Oh my god. I think that, you know what, that just reminded me. The other day we were talking about future podcasts. We had our monthly meeting, our first monthly meeting in a couple of years, and we were talking about putting together some podcast ideas. I would love to do an entire podcast is basically a nature documentary where we just like do our best impressions of David Attenborough the entire time. We'll start talking about like the wild House of Guitars guest or a House of Guitars employee. You know, just start doing like a Rochester-based David Attenborough.
I can honestly say I don't know who that is.
Famous British dude.
Okay, well there we go.
Yeah. Oh, I still have my work ahead of me with you. I really do. There's
You
just
do.
so much out there.
We're now watching the average Rochesterian attack something called a garbage plate.
Okay, now I hear it. Okay, thank you, Billy, for the voice.
I don't know if I had it right. That's just my British.
That's the point.
That's my British impression. Just as Ian has a Scottish accent, that's my British.
I seem to recall it now, and I just would be one that I would turn the channel. So
I've got my British accent from years of watching Monty Python and Doctor Who and.
I'm not giving up on you yet, Tanya.
Well, that's good.
There's hope for you.
There's hope for me.
Yes, I'm not.
Help
sure
me,
where it is.
Obi-Wan Christopher. You're my only hope. Oh boy.
Boy. Guess
So,
what?
What
Guess
are we
what?
talking about today?
We're like 13 minutes into our first podcast of 2021, and we are well and
Off
truly
the rails.
off the rails. So, par for the course. Life is good.
Business as usual. Yep.
It's a new year. It's a new episode of Monkey Business and same SSDD.
Same shit, different day. You can say it. We don't need the Spreaker button. We're not on Spreaker anymore.
Okay.
So, Daniel-san, how are you doing? We haven't heard from Daniel yet today.
Oh, and I've been better.
Well, I know. You hanging in there?
Yeah, I just got a tough cancer decision to make in the next couple weeks here. So,
You know what? I got to tell you, I got to commend you for how you have been handling this, because this is a very difficult situation, and you are normally a very private, very quiet
absolutely.
person, and you have been out in the open saying, "Here are the details. This is what I'm going through, uncensored, not holding anything back. Just this is it. Here's the basic fact of it." It's like
my ass will never be the same after rectal cancer.
No, but if they do rebuild your ass, can they like make it like a Kardashian ass?
oh, Jesus.
Sorry.
That would look weird on him. He does not have the rest of the courage to support that.
No, I don't think that'll work too. I don't know.
That is not a thing. I mean, it's like it would basically be putting like a large water balloon on a telephone pole.
That's not right.
Look, now we got to laugh. I know it's a difficult thing and everything
No,
that's going through, but
You have to kind of laugh. I mean, give me all the ass jokes you want. I mean,
last weekend I was at Barnes and Noble, and Chris and I were looking for Deanna's gift, Christmas presents and stuff for Anne because I just hadn't been able to get them, and I'm still contemplating going back and checking on Amazon or whatever. But there's a card game that says "Shit Happens."
mhm.
And I'm like, I showed it to Chris. I'm like, oh, can we get this for Dan?
Well, part of the decision is that it might not happen for me soon. I don't know.
Well, I know.
Or it's going to happen in a bag.
Yeah. My cousin Tiffany's son, Sam, he has had an ostomy bag. He is going to be 11. He has had it, I think, since he's been like 2.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So
Because
he's pretty much all I've known.
yeah, because it's like they're trying to figure out, it's like Hirschsprung's or whatever, where like the sphincter muscle or whatever just doesn't contract
Hmm.
type thing. So they've tried to reverse the ostomy and things like that, and it just he'll always have it. He'll always have an ostomy bag. But
Yeah.
there are people that have like the ostomy bags that get like cool like superhero covers to put over it, and things like that underneath. There's all that type of stuff.
Such a consolation.
I know.
It's it's a lot of stuff out there, and if that's the way I have to go, that's what's going to happen and everything. It's just it's just I could take the chance and do nothing and hope that the cancer is actually gone. But that's also taking the risk of if it's not gone, that it could spread elsewhere, and that even could be worse. So it's just like it's the safer way to go, but it's definitely
The life changing.
And then there's the whole what if I go through it and then they do because they'll do a pathology on all the stuff to see if there are cancers, and they don't find any cancer. So it's like, okay, so I know there's no cancer now, but I went through that kind of for nothing, kind of thing. It's like so it's mentally it's definitely very difficult to kind of deal with, and just like, okay, it's the way that is generally done, for this, for the rectal cancer, this is what's generally done because that's it's the best chance of making sure the cancer is gone afterwards.
Yeah.
But there's it's like yeah. So it's just it's just a lot of. I just found out on Friday, so it's not as if I had a lot of time to go through it and everything, so or talk to people or anything. So
yeah. Oh,
and we're like the worst people to talk to about it. We're like, we're gonna make Kardashian jokes, apparently.
give me ass jokes.
Not Kardashian, a Kardashian.
Yeah.
There's
no, I that was intentional because ass.
Kardashian.
No, and I'll tell you, Dan. Your best friend, your brother over there, he knew exactly when you got the news.
Oh, let's not talk about that right now. That's because that freaked me out. Let me put this all out in the open, because this happened and it blew me away, because I was really it was weird. So Thursday comes around, and about mid to late afternoon,
it was like 3:15ish.
Yeah, 3:15, 3:30, doesn't matter. I started feeling weird, and then I realized I was almost having a panic attack, and I was fighting it off for about an hour, and it was really bothering me, and I couldn't figure out what it was. I'm texting Tanya. I'm like, I think I'm having a panic attack. I'm unsettled. I'm shaking. I'm really, really, really nervous. I'm really upset, and I don't know why. And I got home from work about an hour after I got home from work, 2 hours I got home from work. I get a text from our buddy Scott. Basically, I broke my leg. I'm like, what? So I call him. He'd slipped down a flight of stairs, got a hairline fracture of
my
both his legs, and it's fine. He's going to be in a brace, and it's sore. He'll walk it off. I'm like, all right. I didn't put the 2 plus 2 together. But then the next day, Friday, you go to your appointment, and about 10, 15 minutes before you texted me saying, heavy news, a lot to process, call you in a minute. That whole thing happened again. I'm like, I am going. I had completely forgotten you had your follow-up appointment. I knew you had the MRI, but I figured they would talk to you before, after that. I forgot completely you were at your doctor's appointment. I'm going bonkers. Like my hands were shaking and I was feeling cold, even though it was like all nice and cozy in my car. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? And then you texted me. I'm like, what the hell is going on here?
Well, you want to know something? In my appointment, I was feeling all shaky and I was getting kind of weak, and they had to give me the juice because I was kind of like getting kind of faint.
Uh-huh.
So
Were you in your appointment about 11:15?
You're not helping. You're not helping at all.
Dan, were you in your appointment about 11:15?
it was started at 9:20.
Okay, so what time did you get out of it?
About 10:20.
Okay.
That's about when I texted him.
All right. So apparently I'm Professor Xavier. I just got to shave my head.
So like he sends me a text about 11:20 and he's like, this is happening again. I'm like, check on Dan, check on Scott, check on Dad. And I'm just like, and then no sooner than I sent the check on Dan and Scott, check on Dad, the next thing is like from Dan. And I'm like, there you go.
There it is.
And he's like, shit. No. I'm like, well, so I'm like, you guys have been best friends, buds, brothers for so many years. It's just natural that like, it's not like twins, but you have that twin sense.
Our periods have coincided,
Yes, we sat together. It was worse. It was worse when we were living together. We would just lay on the couch and watch, Gilmore Girls, and have
chocolate,
eat ice cream, and share.
You guys are both assholes.
Well, if everything goes to plan, there's only going to be one asshole in this group. So.
That's right. Well, they are going to try to reattach it, so they're going to. I might not have to have a permanent bag, but they're going to cut out the piece with the rectum there, and then they're going to reattach, pull the colon out and just stretch it and attach it to the sphincter there, and tie it up in a knot, and then hopefully it'll take and. I'll get some. It'll be different. I'll never poop the same. But
and we'll never poop this way again.
But
there's a Las Vegas show act in there somewhere, I'm sure.
We have dear listeners for all this shit talk.
Well, that's the thing. The other day he and I were talking, right? And this is just me doing my job the worst way possible, right? We're talking, and I'm like, well, let me ask this stupid question: is there like a bionic asshole or a prosthetic that you can put in its place? Maybe you can clone a replacement or something like that. Is it like a thing they can do? They can clone tissue these days?
Or a pig ass, a pig.
You would think with the science and the medical advancements that they've had.
Well, that's what I'm hoping he learns when he gets a second opinion. If there's some sort of an option that can work around it, but then I'm going through this, and I'm asking these questions in earnest because I just want to know. When I'm in the back of my head, I'm realizing just how awful these sound, and I'm like, what is it with this crap? Oh, sorry, And I find myself in I find myself in this minefield of all of these things that all these references, and I feel uncomfortable making them, but he's laughing, so I'm happy,
I don't laugh, I'm going to cry. So I got some emotions got to come out.
This is a really shitty conversation, I have to say.
Might not be from network to XM radio.
We're on XM radio.
Potty talk. Potty talk.
Excrete radio, I think at this point. I don't know.
Oh man. I can't even right now. I just can't even. So Dan and I are working on some other stuff. He's going to have a platform to talk more about this out in the open in a podcast format.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just this is life. This is life.
It is life. It could happen.
The first week of 2021 has definitely been a very interesting one.
Yes. I want to cancel my subscription already. The 7-day free trial didn't do it for me.
You already passed the 7 days. Sorry.
Yeah, well, I did that on day 7. So
I was joking to my friend Cindy out in California, and she made the comment like you just said. I've tried my 7-day free trial. I'd like to roll back to the original, and I said, yeah, I'm actually in talks with IT. I'm trying to roll back to the original 2001 edition. Just
let's go back to Windows XP.
hard reset. Hell, I'll settle for Windows ME at this point.
Oh boy, I was going to go
Right.
there, but I remember me and Mark went to the grand revealing of that, and they had a thing for it here in Rochester at the Armory,
Hmm.
and it was so bad that the Armory, because it was a hot day and there's no air conditioning there, that they apologized and sent us like consolation prizes for attending this the Windows grand reveal, whatever.
Oh boy. Oy, Madonna mia. So, are we going to talk about something more interesting today?
I think so.
I think
I
so.
think
I
we
don't
should.
know if it's more interesting, just different.
I think from Billy's tone, we can say that we're going to go from a shitty conversation to a shitty movie conversation.
Or a shit show.
I mean, it's
I don't know if it sinks that far.
No, okay.
No,
and the movie definitely has some good reviews. Some people like it, some people don't. Some people are in the middle.
Hmm.
I-
I'm definitely in the middle, leaning towards like. So what we're hinting around is that we were treated to a nice gift instead of having to worry about theaters coming open and across the country to see it. We were gifted with Wonder Woman 84, the sequel to Patty Jenkins' Wonder Woman hit with Gal Gadot as the lead as Princess Diana there. Oh, Princess Diana, huh? That sounds like a
Mhm.
cool. I wonder if there's anyway. Moving on. And or Diana Prince, whichever you come up with. And so we got a chance to see that at home via HBO Max on Christmas Day. And I know a couple of people watched it right away as soon as it was released. I took a couple of days and then hunkered in and watched it myself. I think, Dan, did you get a chance to see it this weekend?
I did get a chance. Yes.
You did get a chance? Okay, so it's fresh in your mind, probably the freshest of us all.
Yeah, because I'm one of those people that went right Christmas Day as soon as I could.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I watched it Christmas night.
Absolutely. So yeah, we're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna refocus ourselves. I'm gonna get a glass of water and a cup of tea or something like that, and then when we come back, we're gonna hunker in and we're gonna talk about what we thought about Wonder Woman 84, starring Gal Gadot. Billy.
Chris.
I know. Well, it was so much fun. We had to try it again. All right. So, Wonder Woman is a fictional character appearing in American comic books published by DC Comics. The character is a founding member of the Justice League. The character first appeared in All Star Comics number 8 in October of 1941.
Wow.
Really? I don't think that's correct.
Well, I'm reading off of Wikipedia.
I think
So-
Wikipedia is wrong.
Well, that's
I
entirely
want to
possible.
say her first appearance was in Sensation Comics.
You know what? That's worth some research, and it makes mention of it here with her first feature being in Sensation Comics number 1 in January of 42. So it's basically
okay.
it's probably saying like kind of like a cameo is what
Gotcha.
I'm getting the impression of here at All Star
Mhm.
number 8.
Yeah.
With her first feature in Sensation Comics number 1 in January of 1942. The
Gotcha.
Wonder Woman title has been published by DC Comics almost continuously, except for a brief hiatus in 1986. In her homeland, the island nation of Themyscira, which I would never have known how to pronounce unless it was for the movie, her official title is Princess Diana of Themyscira. When blending into society outside her homeland, she sometimes adopts her civilian identity of Diana Prince. And several TV shows, comic books, movies have transpired over the years, but none have gained more attention than the recent DCEU movies. And when was the first Wonder Woman movie? Was it
2 years ago?
2 years ago?
2017. I thought.
2017.
Mhm.
2017, Wonder Woman hit the big screen for the first time with Gal Gadot all by her little lonesome, carrying a whole movie and doing a fantastic job of it. We loved the first Wonder Woman movie, didn't we? We kind of generally just kind of really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
We
Mhm.
did.
we
Good.
Susan and I rewatched it a couple
Mhm.
days before Christmas. I have the
Okay,
Blu-ray, so yeah, and it held up like crazy. It's still an excellent movie.
good,
I
good.
didn't make it up in my head. It wasn't.
It was not your imagination.
Nope. It wasn't just the excitement of seeing Wonder Woman on the big screen. It is really is a very really good movie.
Good deal. Good deal. All right. So with that being said, then um, let's go right off the bat and just say what was our first impression. We'll go around the horn and our first impression of the sequel, Wonder Woman 84. Billy, I know you. It was not as thrilling for you.
No, it was my most look forward to movie
Uh huh.
of 2020 that kept getting pushed back, pushed back because of the pandemic. So I
Right. Right.
was really looking forward to this, and I was ultimately mostly disappointed.
Okay.
I enjoyed parts of it. It wasn't a complete disaster, but it's definitely a disappointment to me.
Now let me ask you right off the bat. What are some of the reasons that it was a disappointment?
I think that um, it they couldn't get it. Not thematically. What's the word I'm listening? It was sort of. I referred to it as a jumbled mess on Facebook. They couldn't get the right
Okay.
feel to it. It was part candy coated fun. They went for serious. It was there are some things that would work in a comic book that to me didn't work in a movie, like The Wishing Rock.
Uh
The
huh.
thing that disappointed me most was I thought the cheetah, who is Wonder Woman's arch enemy, the cheetah is to Wonder Woman like the Joker is to Batman, Lex
Right.
Luthor is to Superman. Really, Kristen Wiig's in it a lot. The cheetah's in it for about 4 minutes,
Yeah.
and
And it was bad CGI cheetah too. We'll throw that spoiler out there.
and I didn't like Pedro Pascal as Max Lord. I know it was like a Trump parody type of thing,
Mhm.
but I don't think you needed two bad guys. I think there's a story in there where you could have had Wonder Woman versus the cheetah.
Okay.
I think that the trope of Kristen Wiig being the nerdy girl no one notices.
Uh-huh.
And then all of a sudden everyone notices because of the wishing rock. No, take off her glasses, undo her hair. It's been done since the 30s. that goofy joke, and most famously maybe in Rocky, where
Uh-huh.
Adrian all of a sudden turns
It's hot.
pretty. No,
Yeah.
it's Kristen Wiig. She looks like she's funny. She was smart enough to get the job at the Smithsonian Institute, and now
Right.
the person that hired her didn't remember her. To me, Susan's raising her hand. Yes.
Susan really doesn't like the fact that they put Wonder Woman in stiletto heels. That was my first clue that this movie was going to suck. No.
Okay, that's an interesting observation, but I'm going to be honest. I don't quite understand its significance. So, what was wrong with the stiletto heels? I just help me out on that one.
What's wrong with stiletto heels, Susan? Chris asked.
For running? For
Okay.
fighting?
All right,
Not
that's.
for stiletto heels, but give
I
me
wasn't
a
paying
break.
much attention to her feet, to be
I was
honest.
gonna
So,
say, I want to say,
Oh, I'm sorry, Tanya. Go
no,
ahead.
I was gonna say, like when she's in her Wonder Woman costume, aren't her boots like wedge heels?
Are they wedge heels?
The wedge heels in her costume, but
Wow.
then there's stilettos when she's at work and things like that.
You're both talking at the same time. Okay, go ahead, Susan.
The boots are wedge heels, which irritated me, but it's not as bad as when she's wearing flat out 4.5-inch spiky thin stilettos and they're running around. She's not in a Wonder Woman costume, but they're running around investigating and she's wearing stiletto heels. That's my personal pet peeve.
okay, that's that. I just needed to understand. That's all, and I get it now. Absolutely.
My pet peeve was not enough cheetah.
And which is valid, and it's correct. I mean, I want to bring up the fact that Kristen Wiig was amazing.
Yeah.
I thought, she played the mousy one. We're used to that, the mousy, the uncomfortable comic kind of relief kind of thing from her. But as Cheetah's attitude started kind of coming out, and the mousy girl was being replaced by the badass. I was watching this transition and just I knew she could do it. I mean, I knew she wasn't an incapable actress, but she was always known, in my opinion, a one-trick pony, comedy, comedy, comedy. So to see that transition and to see her handle it so effortlessly, I was like, okay,
Mhm.
this is a bright spot for the movie. That was like an up
Mhm.
thumb for me on that one, was just Kristen Wiig's performance. And then, you know, obviously, spoilers.
Mhm.
Uh, the cheetah, the CGI at the end was like, why did you do that to her? That was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
All of this build up for wow,
Yeah.
what happened?
Like I said, I loved the first 15 minutes. The little girl on I
Mhm.
still call it Paradise Island because that's what I always knew it as as a kid. But Themyscira, the contest on Themyscira, and then the mall fight, which I thought was spectacular.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And then I don't know if I just didn't like Max Lord so much that his character really annoyed me. And as far as I know, he still didn't go to prison or anything. He made up with his son, and all of a sudden, all his crimes get forgiven. That was the impression I got at the end.
Yeah,
Um,
you're
but
not
then again, a wealthy businessman who gets a lot of power and then his crimes will be forgiven. It may not be that far from from the truth.
yeah,
Mhm.
unfortunate but true, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Dan, what did you think? You're the one who saw it most recently. Your thoughts are fresh. What do you got?
Well, I mean, part of it might be um, because I just had my talk to the doctor, and I watched it after that, so my thoughts weren't exactly open, but
Eh,
it did
Yeah.
feel it didn't pull me in.
okay.
It felt kind of disjointed.
Okay. Which is something Billy
Um,
mentioned.
yeah, I mean, I can definitely see both. I didn't not like it, but I didn't love it.
I think that's where I am with it. Is I did find a lot of things that I enjoyed, and there were a lot of things that were very flat out comic book, right?
Yeah,
And it's like, oh, okay, that happened now, and that's
yeah.
very comic book. Well, it's a comic book movie. Okay, dismiss, move on.
I would agree definitely with Billy about Max Lord though. He was just kind of he felt odd.
Too over the top.
Yeah, he didn't feel right, and just things escalated so fast and everything.
Yeah.
It didn't feel organic. The flow of the movie.
Okay.
And was anyone else annoyed that 70 years later Diana still hasn't moved on from Steve Trevor?
Yeah, I mean, for being for being who she is, it seems like a long time to be holding that, and it seems like they just kind of threw him in there, found a way
Okay.
to shoehorn him in there.
I got a
Like
counterpoint to that.
her whole personality was based on this guy she couldn't have anymore, and all of a
Mhm.
sudden quantum leap happens. And what happened to the soul of the real guy whose
Yeah,
body?
Mm.
there's plot holes there. But here's the thing. Diana is essentially immortal or long lived because Themyscira is supposed to be like ancient Greece, and then and she's this ageless thing. They make a
Mhm.
point of that's how they introduce that aspect of it is Batman versus Superman. When Bruce Wayne is going through the files and he finds the World War I picture of her, and then realizes it's the same girl in 2000 whatever.
Mhm.
So it's like wait, there's this ageless quality. Um, and we're treated to how an immortal looks at things in several different media. I mean, let's look at Lord of the Rings, where the elves are effectively immortal. They're around for thousands upon thousands of years, and how they look at their memories and how they look at how they interact with people. Um, Diana not being quite over Steve 70 years later when it's basically it's a handful of heartbeats to an immortal. So
Mhm.
I'm less likely to have a problem with that. You brought up other more valid points with you know we're working towards this making things much more open, make things much more modern, much more diverse and unified. To have it become kind of a pivotal thing of her personality, it's like almost to me. When I was thinking about it, I called it the Twilight effect. I'm powerless without my boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So that's definitely something I can ding the movie for. Was here's this strong independent woman who's effectively immortal, who's been around forever. She is a warrior, she's fierce, she's brave, but she's pining for a dead boyfriend from 70 years ago. Okay, well, like I said, the 70 years part is not really bothering me, but the whole how it consumed her is what's
Hmm.
bothering me.
Yes.
This is somebody who's been trained to deal with death. Has seen her comrades rise and fall, and
Amazon, come on, Warrior. Come
Amazon
on.
Warrior. Yeah, that's the part that gets me on it. The time
Mhm.
frame I'm not stressed out about, but the aspect of it is kind of like, I'm not
And how the heck did they find a two-person fighter jet to fly to Cairo and without
fully fueled,
refueling?
Yeah.
Without
fully fueled.
refueling.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And back again.
that's a
and back
goof.
again.
That's definitely, I'm looking at the goofs and things like that
Yeah.
about the jet and things
Mhm.
like that. Um,
They
it's
really stretched to try and bring in the invisible jet from the comic
yeah.
book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
And
says
that.
the Panavia Tornado jet they steal is first shown with its correct inline seating configuration from the exterior, but once they climb inside, it switches to a side-by-side seating configuration. So
Uh-huh.
that's definitely a goof. And the like some of the colors and the minimum speed for the jet when they're flying through the fireworks.
Hmm.
So a lot of people are like showing the goofs that and stuff that are in the movie.
Yeah.
See, that's the
And
stuff I don't even I'm not good at noticing that stuff.
Oh, but there's people out there
Yeah.
that do.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
absolutely.
Oh yeah. People analyze it piece by piece. I guess
Mhm.
you can't fly that fast on one of those far on one of those small jets
And
without
they are
refueling.
vocal.
Yeah.
One thing I did think was cute was in the first movie you had Diana as sort of the fish out of the water in modern society.
And then they
And
flipped it.
in this
And they
one they
flip it.
flipped it where she has to teach Steve about current day things
Right.
and
Mhm.
fashions and that type of thing. I thought that was cute.
That I thought that was a nice touch, and I didn't quite connect it to, the flipping of the roles. Um I liked how they did it. We've seen several fish out of water, people out of time, the shtick.
Mhm.
Cave, Encino Man with
Brendan
Fraser,
Fraser.
for instance, is an
Yeah.
extreme version of it.
Splash, which is literally fish out of water.
Exactly. There you go. Very nice. Um, but they didn't hit you over the head with Steve being dumbstruck by modern technology.
Mhm.
I liked how he was trying to embrace it and go full force into it as much as he possibly could.
Mhm.
The wardrobe sequence was there's an irony to the wardrobe sequence
Mhm.
when he's trying on the different outfits. Um, because you're used to a female character having to go through that and model for the audience, right? So to have a guy doing that, there's an irony involved in that, and it's a nice change. It's humorous. They do it well,
Mhm.
but it's not over the top. And he's so accepting of '80s fashion, and those of us who grew up in the '80s are like, no, no, dude, don't do that, no, oh god. And there's the fanny pack fuck. Okay, so Jesus, so I
Yeah.
just I hesitate to call it a bad movie. Like our friend of the convention and former Power Ranger Karen Ashley, she and I have been chatting about it because when she first watched it, she went right to Facebook and said, "This movie sucked. This was horrible." And I'm like, I hadn't seen it yet, so I didn't want to pick her brain until I'd seen it.
Mhm.
But we were chatting about it, and she was just bam, this, bam, that, bam. I'm like, okay, all right, cool, all valid points, but can we maybe give it a little? I think a lot of it, people's reactions are as strong as they are because this movie was so hyped, and
Mhm.
it was going to be our morale booster for the end of the year, and it was disappointing. So not only so it enhanced how disappointed we are in this movie.
Mhm.
We wanted it to be something else. We needed it. We needed it. I'm going to
See,
underline that word.
but the thing is, and disappointing is a perfect word because I wanted to like it like crazy, and there are things I like about it, but somewhere along the way, even though DC has made a couple good movies now, Marvel can still meet and exceed expectations.
Yeah.
When it came to Endgame, Infinity War and Endgame,
Oh, they
uh,
landed
to Spider Man,
it. Hmm.
to Spider Verse. It dropped the ball a little bit with not Ms. Marvel, Captain Marvel, and there are lesser Marvel movies, but when it came to needing to stick the landing with Endgame, they did.
Mhm.
That's true. That is very true. That is very valid. I think that's we're gonna have to talk about that one of these days. Have a nice long sit down on how Marvel manages to do it so well so often, and DC has just not
Struggled.
quite
Yeah.
figured it out. I mean, they have hits. Batman versus Superman was not
Yeah.
as bad. See
No,
that's
I've rewatched it and I've enjoyed it. It's not a
Mhm.
great movie, but I've enjoyed it.
It's right up there with Wonder Woman 84. I
Yeah.
think your
Yes.
opinion of it is the fact that these are they're all right, but they're
Yeah.
disappointing because they could have been better,
And
and they
I
missed a lot of opportunities. And us, armchair quarterbacks, are good at finding those opportunities.
and I remember I don't know I loved Aquaman. I thought Aquaman was
Fantastic
excellent.
movie.
Mm.
And
Oh,
I'm
fantastic movie.
curious if it's because I went in with lowered expectations. Should I
Hmm.
rewatch it again and ruin and possibly ruin my initial experience, which was just of complete wonder and delight at Aquaman?
Right.
Do I want to go back and watch it again?
And
Do you
and I've
think it's
already
something where you think it's something where like they're trying to compete versus trying to tell the story?
Yeah,
yes,
maybe. Yeah.
that's
Because
valid.
Marvel gave them these huge shoes to fill. I mean, they put on these things and they're trying to compete with that versus just trying to tell the story of these amazing characters they have.
I think that's what it is because DC Studios ignored what Marvel was doing until
Hmm.
it was too late. Right? All of a sudden, the MCU has become a thing where people can't even think of Marvel movies being separate individual pieces. Every Marvel movie is now suddenly part of the MCU. They have created this juggernaut.
Hmm.
I'm the juggernaut, bitch. Anyway,
And the thing is that Marvel has even incorporated the TV correctly. They're not
finally,
they're not interconnected completely, but it's referenced whether it's Shield or the Netflix shows. They'll make reference, whereas DC distance itself with
Hmm.
the
Yeah, the Flash
Berlanti
is different. Yeah,
CW shows,
yeah.
which are very good.
I love the CW shows.
Yeah,
I think they've done a great job with them. But then they put them the characters in the movies are different characters.
yeah,
you know, and it's just that's the thing and to finish off the point I was making is the MCU became this thing, and then DC was like, we could do that. Let's jump in on that and make money. But that was their whole point, was let's catch up and make money. It wasn't, do we have stories to tell? Obviously they do. They have just
Hmm.
as much history as Marvel Comics does. They have just as much diversity in their catalog. They have a lot of different colorful characters and villains to work with. But there's always been a very marked difference between Marvel Comics and DC Comics in terms of the feel of the heroes, the feel of the stories, and the tenor of how they all unfold. And I think you're seeing kind of an offshoot of that in the movies, and how the movies are so the DC movies feel very haphazard. Like we're gonna
yeah.
start
Hmm.
throwing spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks.
Yep.
But they in this case they had something that stuck. The
Hmm.
Wonder Woman movie was good, or not better than good.
Hmm.
Hmm.
And when it came to the sequel, which is a case of sequels in general, I suppose,
It
in
can
most
be.
There's
Yeah.
several
cases.
sequels that have done well,
Yeah,
but there are several sequels that have earned the reputation of being, oh god, sequels.
yeah.
Where did it go
But
wrong? What was the what do we think was the aspect of Wonder Woman 84 that that went off the rails?
I wish they would have embraced the '80s more. They
Okay.
did it in the openings in the mall sequence, but
mhm.
Mhm.
where's the needle drop on pop culture and the music? And I mean, they did a little bit with the fashion thing, but I
Mhm.
think they could have done more with it.
So instead of making it a soul of the movie, they used it as just a background setting.
A
Here,
prop.
we're gonna
Yeah.
tell a story that we want to tell. It's just we're gonna do it in the aspect of this.
Hmm.
Hmm.
It was a
So,
prop versus more what the movies.
prop, good word.
Yeah.
Yeah, good
Hmm.
word. They didn't really turn it into a period piece. They turned it into a prop in the background.
Yeah.
Got it. That works.
I mean, Max Lord to me was kind of a big downer in the movie, kind of a big over the top, and just sort of uh, it, it it felt like they tried to make it too big too fast.
Hmm.
Okay.
Like I said, they had trouble with the feel, whether to go completely silly with sort of Max over the top Max Lord in the Wishing Rock, or something a little darker, or I don't know. It's I don't think it quite found its feel.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay.
And I think part of it may be my fault. I was looking forward to it so much and am more familiar with the character than, like, I still haven't seen Venom, but I bet I like Venom better because I don't know much about Venom.
Yeah, that's valid.
Hmm.
That's definitely a valid thing.
Mhm.
Tanya, any 2 cents?
I sat back, checked my brain at the door, and just enjoyed it. So I'm not one that goes deep into looking at, Maxwell Lord, you could have done without him. There could have been more of the thing in regards to Cheetah, but it's definitely the monkey's paw storyline was kind of like weak in that regards, because they could have done a lot more with that he didn't necessarily have to become the Dreamstone or whatever, but it
Okay.
could have been that the stone kept going from place to place to place. I don't know. It's just
No, I see. I think I understand where you're going with that. I really do. When he absorbed it and became the Wishing Stone, yeah, that thing was definitely, that was the jumping the shark moment for the movie for me. That was
He got
yeah.
it very easily. She gave it up really easily too. It's like there was
But
seemingly
like,
there's no effort.
because she gave it up because, oh wow, someone's finally paying attention to me, and I'll do whatever you want, blah 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 type thing. And was it kind of like the sign of the times at that point of the 80s, that women weren't necessarily as stand up for themselves, and that they wanted a man, and they wanted to be whatever. I mean, because it's a different time than there is now.
That's an
So
interesting point.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it just look at like that glass ceiling is still there, and like Barbara Minerva's character, she's just like, I'm not noticed, I'm that whatever, but I want to be noticed. I am that geeky, I am that whatever, and I could empathize with that character. I'm just like, I've been there, right there with them in the 80s. I was a child of the 80s, and now like looking at it, I can see both aspects of the female characters, but
They
yeah.
made it a little extreme. Like, who are you? I mean, this
Yeah.
is kind of they made it a little extreme. And I felt any similarity to the evolution of Catwoman versus the evolution of her
Yeah,
of Kristen
actually,
Wiig character.
that's a great. The cheetah in Wonder Woman 84 is really similar to Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman.
I mean, I got a lot of feeling. I felt like a lot of
Huh.
comparison with that.
Mm-hmm.
Suddenly they become this. I don't know. It feels like they started off almost like a kind of the similar way.
She was the geeky person
Mhm.
at that point working for Christopher Walken was Max Schreck,
Mhm.
even the same first name. Maniacal
Or Max Schreck,
businessman.
yeah. Huh. I had not even considered that. That's okay. Cool. Okay. I'm just wrapping my brain around that right now.
And that's another reason why I felt like I wasn't getting into it, because I felt like it was replaying another story almost.
Uh-huh.
So I mean, there was just a lot of things. I mean, if I could forget everything, I might have enjoyed it a little bit more. But again, the movie didn't feel. It felt like it was forced versus organic.
Okay.
It was forced into this versus this is what happened because of whatever. It's just that they try to force these things to happen. Like suddenly he's there right at that moment to get the stone, or right, with this, and the same kind of character development is another one, and it's just, I don't know.
I think there's a movie to be made without Max Lord. Somehow you can
Mhm.
keep the Wishing Rock, and to me, again, more cheetah. Need
Mhm.
cheetah.
Yeah.
More cheetah.
Well, I mean, just the two of them would have been, yeah. I mean, I think you could have made something more out of it. Develop her character more versus trying to flush it out with another,
And
Max
just
Lord.
stereotype geeky girl.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No, it makes sense. Makes sense. Okay. No, I'm just rolling around in the whole the Catwoman analog that you guys just came up with that I had not
Mhm.
considered before. So I'm just kind of processing that in the back of my head. So that's that. Okay, that makes sense. How would we? That'd be like one of the steps that we would take um, to improve the movie, to make the to less Max Lord, more Cheetah.
Mhm.
What else would we do?
I still don't like the way they brought Steve Trevor back.
Okay.
There may be a way to get Chris Pine in there. I haven't
Well, if it was all
quite
about
figured
Whitney
it
Houston,
out, but
I
when
could
when
have had him just show
the Wonder Woman TV show in the 70s,
up. Uh-huh.
between the first and second season, went from World War II setting to modern day setting.
Hmm.
And they still brought Lyle Wagner along for the ride as Steve Trevor Jr.
Well, how do they do it in the comic books? I don't even know that.
See, most. God, that's a good question. I don't know either.
I'm on it. Hold on.
Thank you, Tanya. Fabulous. That'd be
Well,
my question.
actually, I think that may be a case of Earth 1 and Earth 2, where Earth 1 with the Justice Society, Earth 2 with the Justice Society,
Uh-huh.
have different histories. So,
Dun, dun,
Hmm.
dun, 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 dun,
so that may be a multiverse
dun, 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 dun.
issue in the comic books.
Got our own Jeopardy music in the background. I'm
Yeah.
gonna start chanting the Gavin Brothers there.
But
Okay. Does Steve Trevor die in the comics? In 1968, Diana chose to give up her powers to cut ties with her native Paradise Island to stay close to Steve. Trevor was killed off in the next issue.
Oh,
He was
jeez.
thus absent for the next few years of the comic. And the final issue of the original Wonder Woman series, Steve and Diana get married. This one. Let's see. After he was killed, while Diana had lost her powers, he was resurrected multiple times. First as Steve Howard, then as Steve Trevor from an alternate universe whose memory was replaced that with the original Steve. The two later married with the blessings of her mother, Hippolyta. Yeah. Steve
Yeah.
Trevor Comic Vine.
Was it the thing where it just like appeared on the happened in the TV show? It didn't happen in the comic. The time jump.
Yeah.
TV show or movies, or just because they want to bring up to more modern times for easier filming.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's modern times way more cost effective than.
Mm-hmm.
But the
We-
first season of the TV show, which is also on HBO Max, or all three seasons are on HBO Max. If you go check them out, the first season is really interesting. The way they deal with the Nazis and
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to how we deal with Nazis these days.
yeah, exactly.
No. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. So we'll leave that up. Leave that open for now. We don't have an answer.
Okay.
But yeah.
So that'd be something if somebody's listening and they know how they kind of rectified that and then go with it. I mean, they froze Captain America on ice in the comic
Mhm.
books. They froze Captain America on ice in the movie, so it worked
Mhm.
out well.
Yeah.
They just kind of kept on keeping on.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So who knows? But so not a bad movie.
No, not
No.
bad.
Just not what we were hoping it to be.
No, look,
Right.
I may have raised it more in my head than it
Mhm.
wound up being, but it's worked in the past. Like I said, Endgame was everything I wanted it to be.
Right.
And Spider-Verse to me still might be the best superhero movie I've seen in a long time, even though it's a cartoon.
Well,
Mm.
that's the thing is we live in an era now where you can't say that anymore. Where just a cartoon is it's not a modifier anymore.
Mhm.
It just isn't.
I just
People-
rewatched it again a couple weeks ago, and I still
Mhm.
love that movie.
Yeah, it's a great movie. It is a fantastic movie. And I think that's I enjoy the fact that people are more likely to say, to not say it's just a movie or it's just an animated or something like that. Like there's a big difference now. Animated, live action, it's the same thing in people's impressions these days, and I like that transition is happening.
And actually,
I still have
TV
more
and
of a trouble
movies.
watching animated than live. I'd rather watch a live action than animated. So
Hmm.
even with all my love of Disney and stuff, I'd still rather.
Well, I didn't say it was universal yet, and I didn't say it was
Yeah.
perfect, but I am seeing it happen where it's less likely for folks to say
Mhm.
there's a difference.
Yeah.
That's my
Mhm.
observation on that
Okay.
one. So, oh, and my dog has decided to go investigate something else.
I also think it was too long. Now that I think about it, it's 2.5 hours.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
a 3 hour
It,
Endgame movie, and we wanted
There,
more.
okay, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
It's because of the
It's what
plot.
it's what you do with the time that it makes the difference.
Mhm.
That's here's a complete offshoot, but that's the thing about Star Trek Picard and Star Trek Discovery is at the end of the episode, I don't. It doesn't feel like the episode should have ended, and I'm always looking for the next piece. What's the next episode? That's one of the things I enjoy about those particular series is that I'm always left wanting more. Endgame left us wanting more, even though it was already this titanically long movie. Matter
Yeah.
of fact, how long is the
Mhm.
Titanic? Anyway, um, so when we say a movie is too long these days, what that's telling me is that the story was not doing enough with the time that it was using.
It wasn't holding your
It
attention.
wasn't
It
holding
wasn't.
our
They
attention.
weren't telling the story well. Yeah.
We got bored with the
Mhm.
story. That's what I'm hearing.
I mean, I loved the Lord of the Rings extended editions. I would have watched I wanted more after that. Even come on.
Absolutely. And we got the Hobbit for it, and more of the Hobbit than we wanted, but we got the Hobbit.
Yeah, Hobbit was a little carried away, I think, but
So, so be careful what you wish for, Max
that's
Lord.
right.
See how I turned that
Ooh,
around? See how I did
nice.
that? That was clever.
Mhm.
Anyway, yeah. So I think the movie being too long is no longer anything more than just us recognizing that something was not being good.
For
You
the
know.
plot it had, the movie was too long.
Hmm.
For the storyline, the length of the film didn't match the storyline.
Yeah.
Here we go. Here we go. You ready? Who in this panel saw the movie Amadeus with Tom Hulse
I
about
haven't.
Mozart?
I know of it, but I haven't seen it.
Mhm. There's a great scene with the German emperor, and he had fallen asleep during one of Mozart's operas, which made all the people who didn't like Mozart happy, right? And when they asked the emperor of his opinion of the opera, the emperor said, he thought about it for a second, and he went, too many notes. And they hung that around Mozart's neck like a dead albatross. They were like, "Oh, too many notes," so yeah, there was too much going on, and it didn't hold the attention.
Mhm.
There you go. There we go. I'll take that one. That's the win right there. So
Okay.
all right. Um, would we recommend this movie to people?
I'm
It
saying no.
Okay.
depends on the person. I think if it's more of a diehard fan, maybe not,
Uh huh.
because they're gonna not be happy with it. But if for someone who just wants to enjoy a movie, then
But I think if you just recommend it to a normal person, and it's not good, you're giving that person the wrong impression of comic book movies. I'd rather recommend a good one
Hmm.
okay,
or a better one.
I see your point.
Hmm.
Recommend the first one.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
How about you, Ton?
If they're just being a completist, go just to have the completist attitude to go and watch it, just
Hmm.
so you have it and
You can say you've seen it.
you've seen it. I mean, it wasn't horrible, but it wasn't super exciting.
Got it.
Actually, now that Tanya brought up the completest word, no, this is for real. Yes, but nowadays there's so many other options. Back when the Wonder Woman TV show came out, there wasn't many options for superhero nerds of things to watch. I forget if the Hulk TV show had been around yet or not. But before the Linda Carter TV show, there was a pilot movie with Kathy Lee Crosby as Wonder Woman.
Oh, I'd heard about that.
And I've watched it many times. And back then, I was happy with it because there was nothing else.
Uh-huh.
I didn't have anything else to compare it to. So I had Wonder Woman, and that was good enough. Nowadays, that's not good enough. So I think nowadays, Wonder Woman 84, if this was the only thing we had, I'd love it. But now I've got, the Christopher Nolan Batmans. I got the Tim Burton Batmans. I got Christopher Reeve as Superman. I got every variation of every superhero. I got Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. I got Tom Holland's Spider-Man. I've even got the guy in between whose name I forget.
Andrew Garfield.
What's that?
Andrew Garfield.
Yes. I didn't like those movies, but I don't need to because I can go watch Spider-Man 2 with Tobey Maguire, which I liked a whole lot.
Valid. Very valid.
Yeah. Not more options.
Yep.
I think that's going to be a future podcast too. Have we reached the point in comic book movies where we have too many options now and we can't actually enjoy it anymore?
Nope, never enough options.
There we go. Entire podcast in one moment. Appreciate that. Efficiency at its finest in this group. I love it.
I don't have to like them all. If someone, I'm more than thrilled if someone loved Wonder Woman 84. Good for them. I'm happy people like stuff. Make more of it.
I'm hoping there's enough there to come out with a Wonder Woman 3 that's better.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, I think it's probably in the works at this point too.
Yeah, it's already happening, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Anne has already jumped over to going back to watch the Wonder Woman TV series, and I was getting commentary last night. She was like, she's like, "Oh my God, they are complaining of about a steak dinner that costs over $1." I'm like, who? She goes, on the Wonder Woman TV show. I am loving and dying watching these again.
Yeah.
It's like the Linda Carter cameo at the end of the movie?
Yes.
Yeah.
I did. Yes, I did.
Yeah, it was really well placed.
She still looks good.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah,
she's also the president on Supergirl.
Yeah, I was going to say she's been on a few shows lately, so yeah.
That woman has aged very, very well.
And she was the principal on Sky High.
Yes. And she even makes a crack at the end of the movie. She goes, I'm not Wonder Woman, you know.
Yep.
There's a vastly underrated movie we should talk about sometime.
I just watched that with the kids the other day. Yeah.
Sky High.
Is that Kurt Russell?
Watch it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I have seen it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sidekick. Hero. Sidekick.
And oh my God, I can't think of her name. She just passed away last year.
Yeah.
Wife.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I can't think of her name. I feel horrible right now.
What?
Not Rita Wilson. That's Tom Hanks' wife.
Oh, on Sky High?
Yeah. Oh my God. What's her name? I'm killing myself right now here. Well, not literally, obviously.
Yeah. Don't do that.
Kelly Preston.
Kelly Preston. Thank you.
Oh my gosh.
I couldn't think of a poor woman's name. But yeah, Kurt Russell and Kelly Preston are the mom and pa of our up and coming hero in that one. And the kid the guy who plays the hero in The Expanse plays the quote unquote villain in Sky High. Warren Peace is the character name in
Stephen Strait.
Thank you, Stephen Strait. Man, I am not locking in on names today.
I have it up. I have it up right now.
Okay. So. Yeah, and who's the kid who plays the young man, the hero?
Michael Angarano.
Angarano, yeah, he has not been in much. He kind of did a couple of Nickelodeon and Disney movies, and that was about it. And then,
he was in Will and Grace.
Was he?
Uh-huh.
Imagine that.
The Nick, Will and Grace from I don't know what he was in Will and Grace. But, let's see. The Forbidden Kingdom, Summerland. I think probably just bit parts. He's on Pen 15, but I don't think it's supposed to be Pen 15.
Oh, I know. It actually it is. Yeah, it looks like something else. Yes.
Yes.
I know that show. I haven't seen it, but
As middle school as it really happened in the year 2000. 13-year-old outcasts. Yeah. A stroke of a gel pen. Yeah. It doesn't look like Pen 15, but yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, so I think we've done this one up, and so at this stage, let's go take another quick break, and when we come back, we'll end our first podcast of 21 with a question of the week. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dudes, dudettes, and all points in between. We love you. We miss you. We can't wait to hang out with you a little bit more coming up in 21. And now, as per every podcast we have, it is time for the question of the week. Ta-da.
117.
117. Ooh, okay. What movie quotes do you use on a regular basis?
Oh. They told me they fixed it.
Yeah, that's one.
Inconceivable.
Inconceivable one, yeah.
Behind the rabbit, it is the rabbit. That one I do know.
Yeah, along those lines, I have said on several occasions, I'm on the Brute Squad. You are the Brute Squad. Now that I'm actually trying to think about, because they happen so casually, I don't look for opportunities.
Yeah, they just sort of come out normally. One I use is from Pulp Fiction, where bacon is delicious, sausage is delicious.
Well, that's just true.
Yeah. Well, Samuel L. Jackson's character doesn't eat pork. He goes, I don't care. It goes, what's his answer? A sewer rat could taste like pumpkin pie. I'm still not going to eat the motherfucker.
I have left several inspections muttering under my breath, "Oh, Captain, there is no intelligent life on this planet." What else? What are the good ones that have popped up? That's the thing. It's very situational. I know I use.
Yeah. We use a lot of them at the gaming table.
Mm-hmm. Oh God, yeah, especially gaming tables, most likely. Make it so comes up with that's more TV than movie.
I protest. I am not a merry man. That was TV too, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. I have on a couple of occasions when pulling up my driveway, I'll hit the remote for the door opener. Open the pod bay doors, Hale.
Let's see.
Back in my late college days, one of the girls in the dorm was talking about tattoos, and they were talking about a particular location they wanted to put said tattoo, and I overheard it, and I just looked over my shoulder. I said, "There's a shortage of perfect breasts in the world. It'd be a pity." And then went about my merry way, having channeled my Wesley there for a moment. So,
swing.
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 Yes. Oh yes, she will be mine.
Well, it looks like Sean went to BJ's already. He was going to go to BJ's after Athena.
Oh yeah, I've seen that Facebook post.
And I'm like, oh, okay. He doesn't need me to amuse the puppy in the car while he goes into BJ's.
Is that a movie quote?
No,
I know that's kind of
that's my ADD kicking in.
Yep.
I know. What was this?
For some reason,
that was a squirrel moment.
Yeah, I have a lot of squirrel moments.
In and of itself, it's a quote when you think about it.
Squirrel.
We've used. I just met you, but I love you. Will you be my master?
Yes. Will you be my friend? I love you.
I love you. Kevin is a girl. Kevin's a girl.
What I know I've said, and I don't remember why, but it's one that pops from Back to the Future. I'm gonna be Mayor Goldie Wilson. That's it. I'm gonna be mayor.
That's it. Done.
Let's make like a tree and get out of here.
Yeah.
It's leave. Leave, you idiot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Dan uses that one often.
Yeah.
I can't think of, like I said, I've said it a couple of times already. It's hard to say that there's.
So they pop up because your brain makes that connection.
quick.
It's like, oh,
Yeah.
yep. You know, you got to force this. Like, come on.
I know.
It's very situational.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's
Yeah.
fun. So you're going to have to share with us, folks listening at home or in your car or at work or, on an airplane or in space.
In a rocket ship,
In
yeah.
a rocket ship. Gonna take a trip in our
In a
little
little
rocket ship.
ship.
Let us know what quotes have come to mind and what ones you have, and your input on Wonder Woman 84 too. We want to hear what you have to say about the movie, and if you liked it or not, and why you liked it, and why you may not have liked it. So, do you agree with us? Disagree? That's the thing. Let us know, and we will talk to you again soon. So, hey Dan.
Hey Chris.
I think it's the end of the show, Dan. So, hey Dan.
Hey Chris.
Hit it. This has been FC3's Monkey Business, a product of the Mighty Monkey Corporation, purveyors and producers of the Flower City Comic-Con. Coming at you sometime in 2021. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram, follow us wherever we go, and we will lead you to where the entertainment is. You guys have a great week. Have a safe week, and we'll talk to you again next week.
Dun,
Dun,
dun.
dun.
Wow.